Hello there. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. And to those who subscribed, thank you so much. I appreciate you so much. Okay? Because I'm trying to bring an understanding to the world that I don't think too many people can really jive with it. You really have to be out of your ego and have an open mind and have some intelligence within you, some divine intelligence within you that you are aware of and connected to in order to really kind of take my information in. Now, last night actually, I did a video and I'm sitting there with a whiteboard saying the word subtle, and I'm pointing to the word self. And I don't know, it just looked, I'm a bit of a, perfectionist. And so I said, I'm going to redo the video. Okay. And what the video was talking about was self love, of course, my understanding of it. But I started it off talking about a story of the crazy king. Have you ever heard of that story, the crazy king? Well, it's a story about a king and a queen, and they had this kingdom, and within the kingdom was a well where all the people, gathered and got their water to drink and use to cook with, etc. And the king became informed that the water was contaminated, and any people who drank the water were going to go insane. So the king said to the people, don't drink the water, don't drink the water. You'll go insane if you drink the water. However, that was the only water source. So the people drank the water. And true enough, they all went insane. And not only that, because the king and the queen didn't drink the water, the people thought that the king and the queen were insane and not them. And they wanted to revolt and dethrone the king and the queen. And the queen said to the king, when she knew that the people were on the way, she said, why don't we just drink the water? That way, we won't look insane to them and we can continue reigning as king and queen. And you know what that king did? He thought about it and he said, that's not a bad idea. Let's go drink that water. And so the king and the queen drank the water, and they were able to reign their kingdom with everyone being insane. And all the other kingdoms around this one particular kingdom, they wasn't going near that kingdom. And you know why? Because everyone is insane. Anyway, that story is really about, individualism and conforming to the crowd. Usually people conform to the crowd to, keep their power, or to keep their title, and I've discussed in other videos that titles and names and identities is really the ego. So to keep their ego, or just to get along, to be accepted. Yeah. But I'm not drinking any water. And the reason why I'm bringing this story up is because I feel like the king, when the people first revolted on him, and they all thought he was insane, he was the insane one. Because I have a united understanding of love. It's a beautiful understanding. It's about self-love. It could help people love themselves, get out of their ego, evolve into their ally, and become their own best friend, and have higher, joyous, abundant frequencies, radiating off of us, instead of stress, disease, and worry, and lack, and poverty, and not good enough, not being accepted. All those are low vibrations, low frequencies. And what we need to do, well, what we could do as a collective is start to raise our frequencies up. And by frequencies, I mean your thoughts and your feelings. You know, those are, I also refer to them as subtle energy life forces, you know, like this. Subtle energy life forces. Yeah, I got the word subtle this time. I had self before, but SELF. That's the self. That's the self within the body, the self that we can't see, that consists of thoughts, emotions, your intention, imagination, your attitude, you know, all those things that you can mask. But we don't want to mask them. Not if we're really, truly wanting the life of abundance, well-being, and prosperity in an authentic manner. Well, I don't think that you can get it any other way. So, yeah, no masks. We can be who we want to be. I mean, sure, we get that freedom to do that, but we always have, because that is always changing. You know, we started off as babies. Now we're grown. You know, we're totally different than that baby. So the who within us is always going to change the more that we evolve and grow. But the what within us, and you know what the what is? The what is the living one vibrational energy. That always stays the same. So if we remember that, then we can always stay authentic to ourselves. So yeah, and at any rate, what I was saying about the king, crazy king story, I feel like I have this understanding to bring to the world to help everyone grow and prosper and love themselves and love God, because I understand God as the living one vibrational energy of all, with all. Yeah. The Bible says that God is love, and we have been taught, my grandfather taught especially, God the Father. Now, why don't I, the divine feminine, speak on God as love? Love as a real energy that is really creating and prospering and growing all of life. And the evidence is in me and you. We started as a seed from our daddy, really, that went into our mama's womb. And then we were birthed a seed as a baby, and we've been growing ever since. Or you don't want that scenario, then take an actual seed. You plant an actual seed in the ground, in fertile ground. You till that ground, you know, you give it love. You give that seed water. You make sure that it's within sunshine. You're taking care of it. You're living one vibrational energy with it. And what happens? The seed grows and sprouts into a tree, a plant, a bush, whatever it is intended to be. And then within that seed, it will grow and prosper and bear fruits or other flowers and blossoms that contain more seeds and more ways to grow and prosper and flourish and blossom and bloom. So there's nothing but abundance around us. We are made of abundance. The whole world is abundant. There is so many discoveries still to be made. But first, we have to understand who and what we are so that we can go after the right kind of discoveries, you know, because not everything needs to be discovered. Just because we can discover it doesn't mean we need to be discovering it, you know? So let me give this understanding of self-love, because, I don't think I went to the story where I think that everyone thinks I'm crazy because my understanding of self-love unites spirituality, religion, and science. And I don't think the world is really ready for that, or at least the people who I have been interacting with. Not you. I'm so happy that there are people out there that are willing to listen. You're awesome. Okay, give yourself a pat on the back today, because you're awesome. But yeah, majority of people, they do not. Religious people, they don't want to hear about energy being God. Scientific people, they don't want to hear about God being God. Philosophers, they don't even like when I use the word God. Why don't you say love? Why don't you say love? Then it'll sound more logical. But it's like we have to understand this because it is the truth. However, I can't get into all of that, but I will make videos to try to tell you how I understand this as the truth, the living one vibrational energy, as God the Father in the Bible, yeah, as chi and prana that the Western world is honoring, yeah, as all that, as Allah, as whoever, whatever deity, even our ancients. Oh yeah, same one God. Love, living one vibrational energy. Yeah, that's been the God since the start, from day one. So anyway, sorry, I get excited and kind of get into my, kind of attitude. So let me get into a more divine, feminine, a more soothing, and let me speak on the self-love. So again, self-love is the subtle energy life forces, your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, your imagination, your attitude, are living one vibrational energy. Now, some people will say that self-love is being selfish. Well, you know how self-love is selfish? Is when you're living it alone in your ego. That's when it becomes selfish. However, self-love can become divine, which is when you're living it with the all, which is God, which is divine. You see how that is? Now, the ego traps us all the time because the ego thinks it is our personal identity, the image that we created for ourselves to believe and for others to believe. And if anybody were to dishonor this image that you have in your head of yours, you're prone to get upset and try to defend this image instead of understanding that that's their opinion. I know who I am. I know what I am. I'm living one vibrational energy with the all. I am divine. So it doesn't matter what other people's opinions of me. That doesn't matter. What matters is my opinion of myself and my knowing of myself. But yeah, or if you're not in the divine and you are in your ego, then you are going to get offended. You're going to take that personally. You're not going to understand that it is really something that is within the person who said that about you. It is nothing to do with you, really, other than you just shining you. And people can trigger other people just by being themselves, because other people may have envy or jealousy. Who knows what's going on within the self of another person, okay? So, but we all know what is going on within the self, and that's a living one vibrational energy. And if they're saying something to me that is offending me and trying to bring harm to me, then they're in it alone in their ego. They're not in their divine state. So they're being selfish. So I don't need to really worry too much on that. So yeah, and always remember, the last part. When the good thing though is we can evolve our ego. And I wanted to just show you this too, because our ego is when you're edging God out. When you're edging out the living one vibrational energy with the all. When you decide, no, I'm not going to get along with this person. That's your ego, because I feel offended. I feel personally attacked. I feel all of these negative things. So I'm going to be in my ego when you don't have to. There's also the evolution of the ego, which is the ally. Allow love in. Even though that person isn't allowing love in with you. You can allow love in for them. And this is the thing about the living one vibrational energy, where the power lies. The power lies within a person believing that they can become detached from it, which isn't true. However, many people in their egos believe that they can become separated or attached from it. And so if you want to show love to a person who isn't living one vibrational energy with you, what you do is you don't say anything mean or bad or go against them or feel offended. Smile, maybe say something sincere if you like, or just stay silent and pull away, detach, and allow that person to actually be on their own with the actual God, with the living one vibrational energy with all. And maybe they might reflect on themselves, because when you're within that energy, that's when you can say, she wasn't really that mean to me. I don't know why I reacted like that. She was nice and kind. She just walked away and smiled at me and told me to have a good day. Why did I act that way? What's wrong with me? What is it within me? And maybe that person will start to self-reflect. And that is when the living one vibrational energy of all starts to really work within that individual, getting into itself. But, that's how God works. I don't know. But this is just what makes sense to me. Okay, and that is really what this is. This is an understanding that just makes sense to me. I can't prove it to be the truth. However, it sure does feel like truth to me. And that's another thing that I just wanted to remind everyone. You don't have to believe anything I'm saying. I'm not trying to get believers or followers. That is the old world, or for the older generation. The newer generation are leaders, and they don't believe anything. They know. And how they know is they understand that logic alone and intellect alone isn't divine consciousness. It brings upon judging and believing and no truth, really. So you have to connect. You have to be one with the intuitive side of you. You have to be able to feel it and know it within your soul. So yes, you can listen and absorb the words that I'm saying. But then once you hear them, when you get them inside of you, then it's up to you to use your logic, your intuition, your knowing, your common sense, your resonance to say, maybe she is speaking truth. Of course, living one vibrational energy with all is better than being at war with the all. What I'm basically saying is 1 + 1 is 2. So therefore, if we learn how to get along as individuals, loving ourselves, prospering, having abundance, having well-being, good health, good finances, good relationships, good feelings, everyone, heck yeah, this world can be a better place. Heck yeah, a whole lot of healings can happen. And that's really what, and humanity can keep expanding and growing and goes on and evolves and starts to do even more incredible things. Because we've had civilizations in the past that have grown to great heights. We don't know that. It's not known. But oh yeah, I believe it has happened. Technology was here on planet Earth once before. Probably technology that surpasses the technology that we have today, because they were using their knowing, their intuition, their logic, and common sense. However, that's another video. So what I'm saying is, for us, let's go back to that, to real intelligence. use it, and then apply it to a life experience. You might already have a life experience that you already lived where you could say, yeah, I was in a relationship with someone and perhaps it was my ego that got in the way and I wasn't able to live one vibrational energy with that person. I wasn't helping that person love themselves. I was too busy worried about them loving me. I was trying to validate myself through them. And maybe that's too much pressure to put on someone. So yeah, maybe if I had self-love within me and I validated my own self and I made another individual feel good within my presence, then maybe me and that individual would still be good today. That's what I'm talking about. Something that resonates within you where you can say, yeah, she's right. But I don't need you to tell me. I just want you to know it within yourself. And then start applying it. And we're going to get into that, in another video. I don't want to make these videos super long. So I think I'm going to end real soon. But, so yeah, I was talking about, I went off track because I knew I was talking about something. Then I started going off track. I don't know anymore. Anyway, so I guess that this is the end of this video. And I hope that you got clearer understanding. While I'm saying that, I'm starting to remember I was talking about believing and knowing, and you don't believe me, understand what I'm saying. Feel me. That's what I'm talking about. Resonate. Resonate with me. I'm looking for people who can resonate with the truth, know it within their heart, use their intellect and their heart and their intuitive to really have it grounded within them, and then lead with it. Lead with it. Yeah, I think that'll be fun. Don't you? Yeah, try it today. Just say to yourself, you know what? Instead of me getting upset, if you have a partner or your child, whoever, whatever, even at the grocery store, somebody gives you the wrong change, whatever, say, I'm gonna smile. I'm not gonna sweat the small stuff. And see what happens. It reminds me of, sorry, one more thing, but it reminds me of when I was a little girl. My motto in life was do unto others, the golden rule, do unto others what you want done unto you. And I'm telling you, when I lived like that, I was loved. So many people loved me as a little girl. But, I wasn't mature. I didn't know that the world was bad, could hurt me, and all of these things. And so I was nice. And I let people walk all over me. And then I did. I got hurt and I got betrayed, and and so I ended up getting bitter. And I decided to say, you know what? Forget about do unto others what you want done unto you. Do unto others what they did unto you. Wrong turn, because that made my life pure hell. It really did. I just kept spiraling more into anger, bitterness, not happy, unhappy, taking life too serious, judging too much, not happy, not happy, not happy, not happy. I want to be happy. So yeah, I'm going to allow love in. Look at me. Now I don't even know why I was saying all that. I can just go on into another, I don't know. But I do love sharing with you. And I do hope that you like my conversations. And again, I am so happy that you're a subscriber. It's hard for me to get out that word. I thank you. I appreciate you. And I thank you. And you know what? I even put posts in the community, with motivational music. I put some affirmations up for the ladies or even the gentlemen, to make you feel good about who you are, how beautiful you are. So if you want, take a gander over there. Please hit like. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. It would help me so much as a new YouTuber and on my road up to abundance, well-being, and prosperity for all. Yeah, all of us get this life. We do. And if it works for me with YouTube, of course I'm going to share all my tips and show you how to get it too. Go on and get it, because everyone has a living testimony within them that needs to be shared within the world. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going on too much, so I just wanted to say, hey, I hope that you have a wonderful day, because you know why? Yeah, you know why. Because if you have a wonderful day, guess what? I'm gonna have one too.